Welcome.
Welcome to Switching Reels.
I was going to say that.
Hi, Connor.
Hello, Trenton.
How are you doing today?
I do not have depression today, so I'm doing fantastic.
A great day. I feel like, I don't know, I don't have depression, so this is a genuine question. Is it less like you don't have depression and more you aren't feeling the symptoms of depression?
It's definitely that.
Nice. Okay, cool. I'm just curious.
To our audience, hello.
Hi, guys.
Welcome to Switching Reels.
One of our audience members has said that it really disconcerts them that we never look at the camera. So, here's to you, audience member.
Is this what you're looking for?
I really hope it is.
I hope it isn't.
I think it's kind of fun. Okay, we're good. Cool. I'm just gonna take the side of Connor's face during this episode. What are we doing now, Connor?
We've started our Hayao Miyazaki tier list.
Yeah!
Which is not to be confused with Studio Ghibli.
No, Studio Ghibli does a lot more than that.
Yeah. They've had many more people, but this would definitely be their tentpole director.
He's come out of retirement like 3 times to make different movies.
I think it's 4. I think the first time was, if I'm not mistaken, it was on Princess Mononoke, and he had like 3 movies after that before he retired again.
Ponyo and...
No, Ponyo was the second time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
And then he had... Yeah.
And then The Wind Rises.
Yeah, and then Spirited Away.
And then...
Oops.
Boy and the Heron.
Boy and the Heron. There it is.
So, today we watched...
the same movie, but you wouldn't know yet, actually.
I wouldn't.
You haven't seen it.
No.
But today...
Makes me sad.
You said. We watched... the only other one you hadn't seen yet.
Yep.
Which is very cool. It means we were able to see it together for the first time. Not first time, but it's nice that Miyazaki.
And it's also not entirely true to say that I hadn't seen it.
You'd only seen like half, right?
Yeah. So we'll get into this.
Yeah.
But I've started it a few times, and every time I was like, I'd rather just watch something else by Miyazaki.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm excited to talk about this.
As a spoiler for where I'm putting this on our invisible tier list here.
Which we will have a physical one at some point, and it's going to be lovely.
This movie for me is F for Miyazaki.
F for Miyazaki?
For Miyazaki is still like a B for normal people.
But F for me, interesting.
Yeah, this is bottom of the tier list for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm excited to talk about this.
And
this is going to be exciting.
Again, I want to make it very clear,
I
don't hate this movie.
No, I thought it was a really cool movie. Okay, let's go enjoyment technical then.
Technical, I probably give this one like a 6, which is above average.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 is average. 6 is above average.
Nice.
There were some elements of it that were very beautiful, and I go, okay, yeah, Miyazaki
film.
Yeah, Miyazaki is working on this, but so much of it has just been it feels dated, and again, coming from me, that has to be pretty significant.
Yeah, pretty significant for dated things.
It feels dated, and it feels very choppy in both storytelling and in like physical presentation.
Gotcha.
Enjoyment for me, this is probably like a 7.
Nice.
It was fun. It hasn't changed my perspective on film or anything. I wouldn't even put this in like my... If I were to say, should this be in the top 250, I'd be nowhere near. This is like top 500 movies maybe.
Okay.
But
that's not a bad thing. I'm going to get so much energy from you in this episode. I am stoked. We've recently Connor and I have talked about how I drastically enjoy when we conflict in these, because I just get so much energy from it.
So did you love this that much?
I really liked it. So
Okay.
I'm gonna put technical probably an 8. Like I would agree that there are some things that were like, but I thought the pacing was really cool. I thought that for a Miyazaki film, I thought it was really nice. And again, I'm looking forward to having this tier list that we can go and like actually compare them with here soon. But and then for enjoyment, I think
did we say what we watched today?
Oh my gosh, we didn't. All right, everybody. This is Lupin III.
Lupin.
The Lupin III. Dang. Stormlight reference. Lupin III. Castle Mononoke. Castle. Yes, in the sky.
I'm not. No. Lupin III, and I don't know if it was the Castle of Cagliostro or the Castle of Count Cagliostro, but it's one of the two.
Cagliostro. There we go. It's something Cagliostro.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was. Yeah.
So, it's the something of Cagliostro something.
The third.
The 3 times. 3 times.
X3. Only one movie, and also it's the first published, like the first like notable Miyazaki film chronologically.
As far as I know, this is the first one that he has in his filmography.
That's so cool.
This would be his first feature-length film.
Yeah. Anyway, so on enjoyment, I'm probably at an 8, so just a little higher than you.
Okay.
I thought the jokes were great. I thought I liked the plot. I liked the story. I was just kind of like, oh, cool, the entire time. There are moments where I was like, okay, am I starting to get bored? And it was like, no, you're not. But it felt, I just really resonated with the main character. I really liked Wolf a lot. So
I kind of felt that as I was watching it. I'm like, this is a very Trenton character.
He was lovely.
So there were a lot of things that I saw in this that I think were just gonna be. I guess this is still before spoiler wall. There were a lot of things in this where I just kind of felt like, sure, this film is gonna be something that grows into the Miyazaki I love. And you could see some hints of it here and there. And I also saw some things, and I don't know how much of this is due to the manga, but some things that sort of were like precursors to Cowboy Bebop. For anyone that isn't aware, I love Cowboy Bebop.
He really likes Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
He really likes Dune, and he really likes Cowboy Bebop.
There are more things that I really like.
Oh, there are so many other things, but those are the main ones that we've talked about so far, outside of books.
Yeah.
There's a lot of books that you like.
That's fair. Cowboy Bebop is in like top 5 shows for me.
Yeah.
Like TV shows. Yeah.
He likes it a lot.
Anyway. But yeah, I did see some similarities and like, especially characters. Lupin is very much a Spike kind of character.
I saw the first episode, unfortunately.
No!
I have not seen all of
Trenton,
Cowboy
you've
Bebop.
seen like
so many other anime.
15 times the amount of anime I've seen.
Maybe not that much, but a lot.
It doesn't take much. I've probably seen 4 or 5 series total. Well, yeah, but you don't read manga, so that's not an achievement. 1 more than 0 is...
No, I read... No, it was a light novel. Damn.
I win.
Yeah, you do. No, I think I actually did read my brother's copy of the time that time when I got reincarnated as a slime, Volume 1 of the manga. After I read the light novel.
All right.
Are we going over the wall?
Yeah, let's go over the wall.
Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Again, this is Switching Reels. We're watching Lupin III, the Castle of Cagliostro.
They've already seen this part.
Oh, no. Sorry, guys.
It doesn't start over when we go over the wall.
Like, comment, subscribe, be here with us as we go and do this cool tier list. We're going to be doing this for a few months.
Yeah.
Because there's like 15 or something, 13. We looked it up, and there was more than you thought there were.
Yeah. I think we landed on 11.
Was it 11?
Because I had 10.
Okay, I think it was 12 then, because it was 2 more than the number that you thought it was.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, let me count them out.
Do it. We're doing this again? Okay, give me a second.
All right.
So join us for this. It's going to be great. I'm going to make little cool pin things for like tracking our like tier list that I'm also going to make because I have a 3D printer. If anyone hasn't noticed that I have a 3D printer. And it's going to be fun.
And he wants people to notice that he has a 3D printer.
Yeah, I really like my 3D printer. So
he's going to 3D print some nails, and we're just going to hammer them into the wall here.
Exactly. And we're just going to hang little like non-3D printed coins. I don't know, man, where this is going anymore. Don't 3D print nails, everybody.
The point was we were going to break your wall.
I prefer we don't, but
okay.
You know, I was going to say you do you, but actually don't, please. Not in that case. All right. Okay. So we're going number-wise. It's this one.
Yep. Again, I don't have these in order by any means.
Nope.
But
just count them out.
All right. Castle Cagliostro. Next is Nausicaa, The Valley of the Wind, Castle in the Sky, My Neighbor Totoro. From here it gets blurry. Kiki's Delivery Service, Spirited Away, Porco Rosso, The Wind Rises, Ponyo, Princess Mononoke, and Boy and the Heron. Did I miss anything?
Okay, so there's a 15. Oh, okay. I found a good one earlier.
Did I miss anything?
I think you have. Did you get Howl's Moving Castle?
Yes, I did.
That last time. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I had a good page for this at some point. Okay. Let me see. Kiki's Totoro.
I didn't get Crimson Pig because I called it Porco Rosso.
Oh, nice. Okay, good.
But
Nausicaa,
otherwise,
Valley of the Wind.
Yeah, I got all those.
Okay.
Assuming
this
that
is 13.
Really?
Yeah, if you count these. That's
3, 6, 9, 12, 13. Oh. What did I miss?
Sky. Oh wait, no, what's this one?
That's
Castle in the Sky.
That one doesn't exist in our list. Conan the Future Boy. I'm not familiar.
Oh, it's 49 minutes, so it's probably not a movie.
Oh, technically.
Okay, so that's 12.
12. So what did I not do Howl's Moving Castle again?
You may not have done Howl's Moving Castle again.
But I remembered that I was supposed to remember that one.
Did you do Spirited Away?
Yes? I don't know. Now
At
you got
some
me
point,
questioning things.
I know. Sorry. There's 12. So it's going to be great. We're going to watch it for half a year.
Oh my gosh, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Fortunately, most of these are on the list.
Exactly. We're also just having a good time.
I'm not going to try to count the ones that aren't because clearly I missed them.
Tries to count the ones that are on it. This one wasn't on the list.
It wasn't, and it does not deserve to be.
Oh, wow. Shots fired. This one felt so okay.
Well, before we go any further, do you think it should have been on the list?
I haven't seen all of the top 250 yet.
I know you haven't, but like
not in the ones that I've seen so far.
Okay.
Yeah, not in the top 30 of all time. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I thought it was enjoyable, and I thought it was better than Castle in the Sky.
Oh, those are fighting words.
And slightly better than Kiki's Delivery Service.
Those are also fighting words.
I can't wait for this tier list. It's gonna be
Is
so
this
cool.
the part of the series that we're going to disagree most on?
I think so. It was Gladiator, and then we're gonna go through Miyazaki, and we're just not gonna agree for the next 6 months.
If we take a hiatus, it's because we're not talking to each other.
We see each other every week.
Not if this goes too far south.
No. If you don't hear from us, send help. Send a therapist or a counselor, please.
I'm not going with him. Sorry.
With who?
With you.
Where?
I'm not seeing a counselor with you.
Oh, okay. We can be in different rooms.
Okay.
Send messages
That's
back
fine.
and Woo!
I'm angry at you.
Oh no. So I really liked it. So it did it had vibes of, so only Brandon Sanderson fans get this. It did feel a little like Elantris. Like, oh, okay. I could see this is the first work of a artist that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
So Elantris by Brandon Sanderson, for anyone that wasn't following that. But at the same time, it was better than Elantris, because Elantris was a little rough as compared to his other work. This one felt to me...
This is a rabbit trail.
Yeah, it is.
Elantris, I actually liked quite a bit.
I think this is my least favorite of his books.
I like it more than Oathbringer.
You like it more than Oathbringer?
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Okay. I could see myself liking it. No. I think I like Oathbringer better, but only barely, and I can't believe you had to make me do that. Okay.
And that's also...
We're going into a book podcast now, guys.
Sorry.
No, I brought this up.
I also like it better than one other book, but I'm afraid to say it.
Which one is it? Is it The Frugal Wizard's Guide to Surviving Medieval... Oh, sorry, Handbook to...
That one's easy.
Okay, yeah, that one. It is better, actually, than that one. The Niyumi?
It's the first Mistborn.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
I don't love the first Mistborn.
I
don't get the hype. I loved the second one, and I'm only really a few chapters into the third one, and I already am liking it.
Yeah, I really like the third one.
I don't understand why everybody recommends the first one. I think it's a
really
relatively weak book.
But it's a good jumping off point for Sanderson. Sure, it's weaker than a lot of his other books, but if you haven't read any Sanderson yet, it's a beautiful intro.
But I was caught up on Stormlight when I started it.
And you're also a world builder. So, makes sense that you started with the world building one and then you read the other one.
Anyway, back to the movie we're supposed to be talking about.
Yeah. So yeah, I really liked the characters. I really liked the setting. I
liked the characters as well. I thought the characters were fantastic. Setting, I'm mostly on board with.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the atmosphere. The setting itself felt, again, kind of choppy.
It felt a little hodgepodge.
I felt like there was no real sense of place most of the time I was in the castle.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of a sense of place when you were in the ruins of the old castle and everything, but the entire rest of it, the only thing that made any real sense to me was the bridge going across to the tower.
Yeah.
And I got a very good sense of where the tower was in comparison to the rest of the castle, but
interesting.
There was a lot of it that just felt like, oh, people just kind of teleport from room to room here. I know I've seen this room before, but I don't think they connect.
Nice. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't get that vibe. I felt like, oh, okay. It's a very vertically and then slightly horizontally built castle with a lot of rooms that I've seen in castles that make it feel like it was okay, yeah, no, this makes sense from the castles I've seen and been in.
That also might be part of it. I've never been in a castle.
So we'll go and get you into a castle first, and then we'll watch it again, and you'll be like, oh, okay, it's supposed to be this weird, because all castles are laid out weird.
Okay.
Much differently than you imagine that they should be.
I still feel like we should have had some transitioning
shots,
yeah, so that we know where we are.
Cool.
Really the only one we got was the steps.
We got steps, we got the outside of all the when he's on the roofs. I thought that was really nice.
The roofs were the other exception, I think, for me. I still didn't get a sense of where each of these roofs were, but he was just running across rooftops, so it almost didn't matter that much to me. It's kind of like somebody running through the rooftops in a city. You're I don't need to know where these buildings are or what they are. I just believe that there are buildings for them to jump to. But I was going to agree with you, though. Characters.
Yeah.
I think characters are by far the strongest part of this movie.
Absolutely.
I think characters followed by I think the comedic writing lands pretty well.
Was so good.
Yeah.
Like it was funny in American.
Yeah.
And so like that's it. Yeah, they did a really, really good job with that, seeing as we're not the target audience originally.
Yeah. That said, I think the comedic moments were too few and far between.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that they were just like kind of peppered like most places. What I felt like my heart was chuckling very often.
They were peppered, but they were peppered again. There wasn't enough pepper.
I feel like it's the Lewis girl equivalent of garlic. Is what you want in comedy.
Actually, that's a me thing for garlic as well.
Nice. Okay, like, cool.
Calls for 3 cloves,
19.
put 12 in there.
Exactly. There is no such thing as too much garlic.
Exactly.
And I thought it was like, okay, I thought it was tastefully done. I thought it was nice.
Okay. That's fair. And I think if I would have felt the way you did about the rest of the movie, I think it wouldn't have bothered me as much.
Yeah. But it was just another thing to go and stack on top.
Yeah. It felt the movie itself felt kind of bland to me.
Yeah.
Which is something I do not associate with Miyazaki.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't feel bland, but I was also just like geeking out over the cool little gadgets and stuff that he made, and the improbability of him having made all of them in the amount of time that he had. And like it felt fun. Like the movie felt fun and not as like serious as future music. Like if you compare this with, again, you haven't seen Boy and the Heron.
I haven't.
Even like a little bit with Ponyo. Like Ponyo has more seriousness than this one, and I loved the levity that was in this movie. It was lovely.
Okay, that's completely fair. Again, I think a lot of this is subjective.
Yeah.
And for me, I like the sort of Miyazaki does this thing most of the time where he takes my heart and he whisks it away to another place.
Yeah.
And I did not get that at all with this movie.
That's a really good point. I did not have any like fanciful whisking away in this one.
Yeah.
It was all just like, oh, we're watching a kind of silly action comedy.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. An animated action comedy with some of the art style of a Miyazaki movie. Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, I totally feel that. That's a really good point.
Yeah, to me, this felt like, and I know that this is not at all what it was, but it felt like Miyazaki had been working on his actual films. And then this was just like the fun side project he did every once in a while when he was like kind of bored. He's like, hey, I've been reading this cool manga, Lupin III. I want to draw a few panels for it.
Yeah.
And then he just did that until he was like, oh, actually, I've got like an hour and 40 minute long movie here.
Maybe I'll just ship it.
Yeah. This felt like a trunk novel to me.
Nice.
To bring it back to
writing. Yeah. I didn't know this was a manga. That's cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This and Nausicaa definitely were.
Ooh.
I don't know if any of the other ones were, but I'm almost certain that by the time we get to Ponyo and on, none of those were manga.
Yeah.
And I think Princess Mononoke might have been one, which is the only reason that it doesn't go all the way back to like much earlier.
Yeah. Interesting. That's cool. I didn't know that. I didn't know that so many of them were manga adaptations.
Again, I don't think a lot of them are.
No. But so many of them is more than I thought 0 of them were. So
I know at least this one and Nausicaa are. And I think there's a Princess Mononoke manga.
That's cool. But it felt very manga.
Yeah. But not the type of manga I typically read.
No, that makes complete sense as well.
As I've said to some people before, I broadly recommend Berserk. I don't recommend it to any individual person.
Did you not want that on your conscience?
I can't be responsible for the damage it will do to your soul.
But if a general human being is...
But was it made for me specifically? Yeah.
Yes, it was. If you have a vibe that you are like Connor, hit us up. Connor will give you many things.
I still won't give you Berserk. I can't have, like...
You have been given Berserk now, and that is as far as he will give it to you.
Yeah. All right. Small aside, this is going to be our episode of tangents.
Yeah. You say this so many times.
Well, yeah, fair. We try so hard to talk about the topics we're supposed to be talking about, and it only happens sometimes.
Exactly.
But I had the opportunity to read more Berserk than I usually do.
Oh, nice.
Probably somewhere around 6 to 9 volumes, somewhere in that range. I got done with it and was like, I want the next one. I can't read the next one.
Oh, no.
Not right now. For those that are fans, one of those sections was the eclipse. The eclipse completely shifts the path of the narrative due to trauma. It's rough, man. But yeah, anyway, that's me.
That's good. That sounds nice.
I've seen people that have tattoos of the Mark of Sacrifice from that manga, which makes me uncomfortable.
Why is this on someone?
Well, yeah, it's like, it's to the point where I'm like, okay, I get it. I get how good this is. If this was not what it is, I would be getting a tattoo.
But it is.
But it's what it is. Like, I don't know, man. Anyway, I like my nerdy things.
Yes. And again, I love that.
Sci-fi,
we have different ones.
Sci-fi and fantasy.
Yeah.
Which a lot of our Venn diagrams are not like separate from each other.
Not at all.
There's a very big
amount of overlap
section in the middle. Yeah.
Which is great.
It's just the extremes for me.
Amount of on the edges. And
especially the stuff, I would say, when it comes to sci-fi and fantasy, you have a circle within my circle.
Yeah.
The things that I like that are outside of your circle are also probably less healthy than the things within the circle.
I do like my healthy fantasy.
Yeah.
That is for sure. So I had one thing to go back. To bring us back.
We were talking about a movie, weren't we?
We were talking about a movie. I feel like the samurai was just the very competent samurai from Seven Samurai, just plucked and like copy pasted into this. The one that dies by gunshot, but after he's killed most of the everyone else and has stolen a musket or something.
Yeah.
That's what he reminded me of.
He was also sort of the the anime samurai to an extent as well.
Absolutely.
The one that is superhuman fast and just
love him.
Him shredding off Lupin's clothes as
he falls into the car.
Was beautiful.
Fire. So
and
good.
then just telling him, you should have worn an asbestos
suit. Oh.
Yeah, that's the other thing. There were a lot of moments in this movie that I did really like.
There's so many moments.
That's all there was for me to latch on to. I had a really hard time caring about the story itself. Or, like, I liked the characters, but I didn't care what happened to them.
Yeah. I was a little sad when Lupin got shot. That was sad.
You had a big reaction.
I was like, oh no!
And I was just sitting there going, like, this movie has broken my suspension of disbelief so many times that, like,
that's funny.
Yes, whatever, he'll get up.
This is such a surreal thing after us talking about Gladiator last week.
Yeah.
Like, it feels, again, like we flipped. It's like, it's our vibe is so different sometimes.
Sometimes.
It's so different.
But again, I would say, like, in comparison to Gladiator, right? Like, that movie has a lot of like sort of suspend your disbelief for this thing or that thing, but none of them are as drastic as this.
No, I loved the amount of suspension of disbelief here. Like, it just made itself a meta to me, and I was like, yeah, I'll live in that meta. Absolutely. That's fine. I'm okay with putting myself in this area of like, I understand that none of this is real. It wasn't anyway.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. Give the characters whatever they want.
Felt purposeless though. Like,
it didn't.
Like, suspension of disbelief is such a fragile thing.
It felt like magic. To me, it felt just a little bit like the amount of...
I can give that to you for the gadgets.
Yeah.
The gadgets felt like magic. Him climbing up the wall.
That was tenacity.
Him catching himself on the wall.
That one was a very large suspension of disbelief.
This is not the realm of magic anymore. This is nonsense.
That's just nonsense. Him like running down the roof and like just breakneck speeds to jump across to the tower.
That I found far less breaking than the fact that he was able to climb up there
in the first place
75% of the way in the first place.
Mm-hmm. And then slip on the
I was shocked when he stopped to throw the grapple hook. I'm like, dude, you can just go the rest of the way. You made that very clear.
You're Spider-Man. This isn't hard for you. Just keep going. Any wall is insurmountable. Like, you can just surmount it. Like, it's just fine. You can go.
It's not insurmountable.
It's not insurmountable.
Yeah,
it is surmountable. Also, you want to swim up a gravity water? Do it.
Yeah. I don't know. The first few of those, like that one, I was like, I rolled my eyes a little bit, but I'm like, whatever.
That one was the same as like whenever like debris is falling and people are running on debris. And I'm always like, it's impossible.
Yeah. Like there's that, or there's even like, if you go to the like old cartoons where somebody like ends up standing over a chasm and then they run back. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that works.
No.
But I don't care. Again, it had a purpose, right? Yeah. You illustrated, they were going fast, and then they panicked.
And then they panicked and went back.
Because they didn't know it was there, right? Like, for me, that works.
But it's that mix of when it isn't for comedy. And it's just there to save them, or like the technical part of your brain in this case is working very well, and that part of me was like, I'm turning off. I think this is neat.
I wonder how much of that is sort of colored by the amount I've just studied storytelling and that kind of stuff, because that's a basic rule. Like, if something doesn't make sense and it makes life worse for your protagonists, you can still usually do it because people will be like, oh yeah, it got worse for them. But if you use that to get them out of a problem, they go,
it's cheapened.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like they've actually earned any sort of victory there.
Yeah.
And so, or like the danger wasn't even dangerous.
Yeah.
But in something like comedy, like it can just be there for the joke.
Yeah.
And you've set up the entire thing so that you make your audience laugh.
Yeah.
The entire concept of like the Naked Gun, if you've ever seen that.
I don't think I have.
Okay. So this is one of those movies that I don't think it would ever make a list like this. Mm-hmm. But it's considered a classic comedy because the comedy is just that good. Like, and it's all of these ridiculous things that just come out of nowhere. So it's like people will say like a normal turn of phrase and then they'll use that turn of phrase in a way that's completely unexpected.
Oh, I love that. That is some of my favorite comedy.
Yeah. We'll have to watch. Airplane's probably the best one to get you started on that.
Perfect. That sounds so exciting.
There's a little bit of it that's like the jokes were definitely dated to the time and that kind of thing. There's a joke about the plane looking like a giant Tylenol. And that was back when people thought that like Tylenol was super poisonous and was actually like going to kill you and that kind of thing. So the reaction of the crowd makes no sense to anyone watching today. But anyway.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I'm stoked to go and see some more of the comedy. That sounds great.
We'll probably watch that outside of switching reels, unfortunately.
Well, we get reel for it.
Yeah, we could.
Yes. Lovely. I'm stoked.
We'll do like a 10-minute episode for something like that.
Something short.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
Let me see. What else did I have here? Yeah, I primarily was just like turning off any sort of disbelief. Because I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
I just like it. Oh, yeah. I was going to say his getting shot was enough payment for me. Like, oh, okay, he was shot and then he had to recover for 3 days. And my heart was like, I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
He's now incurred all the costs he needs to. Oh, and then also...
Yeah, but again, for me, that was enough for me as far as the story goes for that thing. But it made me go, what about the rest of the damage that he should have been incurring all this time? Like,
it doesn't matter anymore. It's all gone. But it is the amount of like just, wow, they allowed this on television death that they put into the last like 10 minutes with the guy getting crushed in the cogs.
Oh, yeah.
And then our main antagonist getting just...
That was pretty brutal.
Like, it zooms out really far, so you can't really see his like color or anything, but you can still see color, and then it goes... And there's like a squelch sound, and you're like, what?
The sound was far worse than anything else.
The sound was much. It was like, oh, he dead.
And again, those things felt like huge tonal shifts to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, the antagonist at the end didn't as much, but the guy getting crushed in the cogs, I was like,
a tonal shift.
Did we just go into a different movie? Like,
I think that
I didn't think I was watching the teeth pulling scene from Old Boy.
I'm wondering if the last like villain dying was only okay because we already saw one guy just get absolutely crushed. Like, oh, okay.
That's how they got Disney to distribute it in the US.
Exactly. Add one more death.
Again, I even brought this up in the movie. I broke our rule
so many times.
Yeah, so many times.
Me too. It was lovely. Normally I have a rule of like minimal talking.
Yeah.
But there was a fair amount in this one where we were just commenting.
Well, okay, so there were two reasons for that. One, there's so much dead air in this movie.
Oh yeah, there was. There was a lot of time where we were like, yeah, we can talk.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fine.
And it did not feel like it diminished the movie at all. I don't think I missed anything because of it.
Yeah. I completely agree. It's a reverse rocket.
But I even brought up while we were watching, like, when those the minute hand and the hour hand on the clock come together, I was like, how are you supposed to avoid being crushed by that?
Yeah.
Like, there's an area for them to, like, climb up to put those rings in. But...
Gotta climb higher, you just gotta run.
Like, how are you supposed to get off of the clock tower once you do that?
You
just run if there was room...
really fast.
And there should have been room. There should have been room. Like... There is a much smaller clock tower on the building that I work at. And there is room.
There is room. To
get in between those hands.
It does seem like the maker of this clock tower 500 years before.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
That was a modern clock tower.
Uh-huh. Not modern, but definitely the last 100 years.
Yeah, at least 100 years. They're just like, oh, we found it. We're going to build another clock tower for it. Ooh, that's a good point.
Again, this movie does not hold up to any amount of scrutiny.
I think you're hitting my refrigerator logic. I think I was having a bunch of it, and I was like, this is nice. And now afterwards, I can be like, oh.
That one was refrigerator logic. I think most of it is...
suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can deal with it while you're watching, then it's fine. But
wish I could. It was
Yeah.
lovely.
Anyway, again, and this has been me being really negative on the movie most of the time.
No, you're fine.
This is
It's a great
again,
movie still.
F for
movie.
Miyazaki is still like B for another director. Like, he's done such great work that it makes this one just look like garbage.
I disagree. I do think that I liked it better than some of his other ones. But,
Okay, that's fair.
I'm looking forward to seeing our tier list.
Yeah,
great.
me too.
It'll be lovely.
Yeah.
I have a little thing here and we can go and put it in different places.
Cool.
Cool.
So, next time?
Yeah, what is next time?
Nausicaa.
Valley of the Wind?
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Haven't seen that one.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
Okay.
I actually haven't seen a number of them. Not like, I think I've seen the majority, but I haven't seen a number.
Okay.
I don't think I've seen Princess Mononoke all the way through, which I'm stoked for.
Yeah, that one. Again, I'm just going to spoil it and say that one's going S tier for me.
Nice. There you go.
That's a good Miyazaki film.
Yeah. That's awesome.
This one?
Not so.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Is there anything else that we have on this one?
No, this was a pretty empty movie for Miyazaki.
I'm glad I had a Gladiator before this one, so I can't feel bad.
I'm glad you did too.
I'm stoked. We'll see how this next one goes.
Yeah.
Cool. How do we end this?